What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and this Saturday, Alex Pereira is making his return, and he's taking on Magomed Ankalaev to try and get his belt back. But because of how the first fight went, he is the underdog in this fight. But we're going to talk about how Alex Pereira can win this fight. I'm not saying he's going to win this fight. I'm simply building a game plan for Alex Pereira to beat Magomed Ankalaev and get his belt back. With that being said, let's get into how Alex Pereira beats Magomed Ankalaev, and the first key to victory I have for him is so in the first fight, I felt like Alex Pereira wasn't really doing too many feints. He was mainly just attacking. When he was attacking, he wasn't really faking attacks and throwing Magomed Ankalaev off. And the thing is, Magomed Ankalaev is a counter striker, and he's going to be looking to counterpunch you anytime he wants, like anytime you attack him. So sometimes you got to mask your attacks and you got to bait the counters out of Magomed because you might be able to counter him. So I think Alex Pereira is going to need to throw feints a lot more than he did in the first fight. Moving on to the next key to victory I have for Alex Pereira, and that's going to be Alex Pereira had a lot of success with the leg kicks in the first fight, so we're not going to change that at all. We're going to keep going to those leg kicks, but I feel like Alex Pereira can also use the right leg kicks a little bit more. He was throwing a lot of leg kicks with his left leg, but not really the right leg as much, and that's because it's easier to check those kicks for Magomed. But I think that they're still going to be effective, and I think that that's what really hurt Magomed Ankalaev when he fought Jan Blachowicz. It was those kicks from the right leg of Jan that were really buckling him, and I think Pereira can really hurt him. And when we've seen Pereira really hurt his opponents, it was with the right leg. The left leg isn't quite as powerful, so if you throw those right leg kicks, I think you're going to do a lot of damage to Magomed Ankalaev. And this is very crucial, so make sure you remember this key to victory, because this is actually a prerequisite to another key to victory. But moving on,
bully you, son.
In the first fight, Ankalaev did a really good job of hunting Alex Pereira down, and he really contained him, so he didn't really give him that much space, and that was a great way to fight him. Pereira wasn't quite as successful on the back foot as he is on the front foot, and I think that's where Pereira shines the most. So I think he's got to push Magomed Ankalaev and take that space away from him, and also it's gonna make the counter striking of Magomed a little bit harder because he'll be on the back foot, trapped against the cage. He won't have quite as much space to really see what Pereira is doing and retreat or pull or step back, step out of range, and then come back. And also the wrestling, Magomed spent a lot of time holding up Pereira up against the cage, and that's going to be eliminated if Pereira is the one who's forcing the action and he's the one controlling the octagon. But moving on to the next key to victory I have for Alex Pereira, and that's going to be as we know, Magomed Ankalaev is going to be looking to counter-strike Alex Pereira. Whenever Pereira is going to try to attack him, Magomed is going to try to counter him. And one way you can eliminate this a little bit is by making sure you stay defensively responsible. So when you throw your shots, you make sure that you bring your hands back up to your face. You use some head movement. You step back and you get out of range. You take an angle. You do something to make sure that you're still defending yourself and you're still in a strong position. And it's going to make Magomed Ankalaev think a little bit harder about his counter strikes, because your defense is going to be there, so he's going to have to fish a little bit harder for the openings. And Pereira actually has done this quite a bit in his sparring and in his preparation. But also, I think the opposite is true. You can attack or you can defend first and then attack. Alex Pereira is absolutely capable of doing this, or he should do it more in the rematch. But moving on to the next key to victory I have for him, and that's going to be Alex did this really well in the first fight as well, and I think he should keep doing that again, and this time look for more strikes off the break. look to get Ankalaev off of you and punish him on the exit, because he is vulnerable to be hit, be dropped, and also make him pay for ever trying to get that close to you. Make him pay with knees to the body, with short elbows off the break, and yeah, have him thinking twice before trying to grapple with you. And even look for your own takedowns. I mean, you saw it in the first fight. Alex Pereira was the only one to get a takedown, so look to trip him again and then blast him with something as he's coming back up to his feet. Moving on to the next key territory I have for Alex Pereira, and that's going to be... Now, do you guys remember when I said make sure you remember the key territory about the leg kicks, because it's going to be very important? Well, this is why. And the Dutchie, or the kick punch combination, if you've seen my video on my top 10 favorite combinations, then you know what it is. But in summary, it's a classic kickboxing combination where you throw a punch and you immediately follow up with some type of kick. And the reverse Dutchie is like when you throw the kick first and then you throw a punch. And that's kind of what I'm referring to. And this is how Alex Pereira can actually beat Magomed Ankalaev. And I'll take a look at this. Firstly, Pereira's just throwing his kicks right at Magomed, and he's throwing that outside leg kick. And we know that Magomed is a counter striker. He likes to come forward as well. He's very aggressive, so you can use that aggression against him. And the thing is, he's always going to try to hit you back with something when you hit him clean. And this can be used against him. And this is how. So in this clip, Volkanovski throws a lead leg kick. And then Yair Rodriguez tries to counter him. But Volk knows that Yair is going to counter him based on what Yair has been doing. So Volk steps back into the southpaw stance. And he clips Yair with a clean right hook right on the jaw. And he actually rocks him. And I really think this could work on Magomed. I mean, look, if Pereira just steps back into the southpaw stance after he throws his leg kick, he knows that Magomed is going to come forward. So just step back into the southpaw stance, plant your foot, and then throw a massive right hook, and he's going to be there. It's going to clip him right on his chin and knock him out. Pereira has a ton of power. So if he throws his right hook like he throws his left hook from the southpaw stance, he's a right-handed guy, you can clean him out. But moving on to the next key territory I have for Alex Pereira, and that's going to be... Since Magomed Ankalaev is a southpaw, he's going to have his front foot colliding constantly with Pereira, and they're both going to be fighting to get the outside foot position, because it's going to line you up to land cleaner punches, and it's going to give you an angle that makes you a little bit harder to hit. So here, for example, Magomed gets the outside foot position and he lands a clean jab, and then he attempts to follow up with another punch, but Pereira is able to move with the punch, but it is lined up with Pereira. But if you look at it, there's nothing that Pereira can really hit him with. Like, Ankalaev is really safe in this position. He can land a shot without really being in danger of getting hit himself. So I think this is something that Pereira is going to fight for. He's going to fight to take the outside foot position and line up some of his punches. But moving on to the last key territory I have for Alex Pereira, and that's going to be... As we know, Magomed Ankalaev is a counter striker, and counter strikers love when their opponent only throws one strike, because they don't have to worry about anything. They just have to focus on evading that strike, and then they can immediately come back and counter you with something. But if you add on more than one strike and maybe 2, 3, 4 punches together, it's going to make it a lot harder for them to evade and counter you. And maybe you might miss the first shot, maybe you might miss the second shot, but maybe the third one is the one that really catches them clean and nails them and potentially puts them in the coffin. And honestly, Pereira could land some shots on Ankalaev. Magomed wasn't moving like a prime Floyd Mayweather out there. Could be hit, but the problem is Pereira wasn't really letting his hands go. And I think he's going to have to, because he can definitely hit Magomed. The problem is he's not hitting him with enough to really hurt him. So I think Pereira is definitely going to have to put punches together in this one, because Magomed isn't just going to be easy to find like some of Pereira's other light heavyweight opponents. But that's my take on how Alex Pereira can beat Magomed Ankalaev. Obviously, he's going to need to do a lot more. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys stay tuned because I'm going to be dropping one video like this on how Corey Sandhagen can be robbed. And if you like to see my predictions, stay tuned as well. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.